I'm going to share just kind of an overview of how I do follow up, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Maven app and how to incorporate that and that kind of thing. And then at the end, if you have questions, then I'll let you ask those. So why is follow-up important? One of the reasons is that it's going to show your customers that you care about them. If you are reaching out to them and saying, hey, I just wanted to check in and see how you're liking your products and make sure that you're enjoying everything, and I wanted to see if you need anything new, then that's going to show your customers that you care about them and care about their needs for making their house smell good, or their car smell good, or their office, or whatever they're buying it for, hopefully all of it. But just reaching out shows that you care. I have a lot of customers that will say thank you to me, even if they don't order. They're like, thank you so much for thinking of me, thank you for reaching out to me, I'm good right now, but let me know about other specials or whatever in the future. So they will feel appreciated and feel like you care about them if you're reaching out to them. Now, one of the things that I feel like was the hardest for me whenever I first started doing this is that people didn't answer me. I would reach out to them and they didn't respond. And I thought, why aren't these people answering me? And so you have to just get past that. You have to realize that that's part of it. It happens to every one of us. People just don't take the time to respond to messages sometimes. I started kind of phrasing mine so it was kind of open-ended, so if they didn't need anything or they didn't want to hear more information, then it wasn't a big deal if they didn't answer, but if they wanted something else, then they would need to. And so that way I know the people that truly are interested. But don't take it personally if they don't answer, because it's not you. Another thing that makes this important, I'm sure you have said or you've heard somebody say that customer service is a dying art. It doesn't exist anymore. You know, a lot of places provide horrible customer service. You can't get good customer service anywhere. So be the change. Be something different. Make sure that your customers feel like you do provide good customer service. And reaching out to them is one of the ways that you can do that. So if you're doing that, they're going to say, oh, my consultant does such a good job. She's always checking in to see if I need anything. She lets me know when things are on sale. She lets me know if there's a special. That's going to make them feel like you provide good customer service. So make sure you do that. And also by checking in with people, you're going to begin to build relationships with them. You're going to establish friendships. Just by chatting with them whenever you text them to say, hey, do you need anything? Or whenever you make a delivery, you know, maybe you visit with them for a few minutes and find out what's going on in their life. Then you're going to become a friend to them, and they're going to become a more loyal customer than before because you've taken the time to make it a relationship and not just a business transaction. And then add people on Facebook. If you have a customer that you know you can friend on Facebook, do that and get involved in their lives on there. Comment on their posts, like their posts, you know, interact, and let them see a glimpse into your life. And plus, whenever you post about Scentsy, they're going to see that. So that you're going to establish yourself as the Scentsy girl or the Scentsy guy, and they're going to remember you whenever they need something. So doing things like that to just build that relationship is going to help you. And then, of course, what we're all looking for, increased PRV. We want to make sales, right? And so following up with people is going to increase your sales. It just will. If you do this and you do it consistently, you will see your sales go up. So one of the things that you will read in like different business magazines or different things like that, they'll say it's a lot less expensive to take care of a current customer than to gain a new customer. And that's true. So if we're taking care of them, we're going to keep them longer term, and you're not going to have to go out. I mean, you still want to go out looking for new customers, but you don't have to be out looking for new customers every single month because you're going to have customers that are going to keep coming back to you. That's one of the reasons that I love this company and this product, because we have a consumable product that people do need to reorder. It's not just a one purchase and you're done. They're going to have to keep refilling in order to keep using it. So you have the perfect reason to follow up with them and check in with them monthly if you want, or whatever. So I went back just to kind of get an idea of how much follow-up has affected my personal business. I went back and looked at 2018 and tried to figure out like how many parties did I actually have and how many of my sales are just because I sit down and do follow-up. I only had an average of about 3.5 parties, successful parties, for each month in 2018. I booked more than that, but we know how it goes. Some of them flop, some of them, back out, whatever. But I have 3.5 on average successful parties a month. But yet I was still able to sell over $30,000 in retail sales. And this is my 3rd year in a row that I've done that. I've earned the annual sales award 2 times, which is $30,000 in the fiscal year. And I'm on track to earn it again this year. And I don't say that to toot my own horn and say, oh, look what I did, but to tell you, that's because of follow-up. That's how big of a difference follow-up can make. Now, if you're looking at your sales and you're thinking, oh, I want to sell more because I want to make more money, if you are selling just a little bit, your paycheck isn't very big, right? But if you sell consistently $2,000 a month, then you're going to get that monthly bonus for going over $2,000. If you aren't aware of that, whenever you start, you have your essential, you earn 20%, but then you promote to certified, get your 25% commission. So 25% commission is your base commission. But if you go over 2,000 in sales for the month, then you're going to get that 5% bonus. So at 2,000, your minimum paycheck is going to be $600. Who doesn't want $600? How many of you could use an extra $600 a month? Exactly. That's a good amount of money. So if you're looking at it like for annual sales, that's an average of $2,500 a month, PRV. That is a minimum of $750 for your paycheck. How many of you could use $750 extra every month? Of course. I mean, that's a good amount of money for just selling some Scentsy products, right? So if you keep consistently building your follow-up game and you're checking in with people and you're building your sales and you're getting repeat orders, then your sales will increase and you can get up there where you're consistently selling over 2,000 or over 2,500 in sales every month. And you're going to have a better paycheck by doing that. Plus you can earn the annual sales award and they give you a nice bonus of $1,000 in the summer. So that comes out to $10,000 a year that you're making by selling Scentsy. $10,000 is a nice amount of money, right? Who doesn't want that? Okay, another statistic that Scentsy has done a study on and found, this is mind-blowing to me, 70% of people who purchase Scentsy only purchase one time. One time, and then that's it. That's insane. So if we do a better job of reaching out to those customers and getting them to purchase even just one more time, think about how much our sales are going to increase. Personally, as a company, I mean, everything's just going to go up. So there's a lot of opportunity out there simply by following up with your customers. So where do you start? Before we had the Maven app, we did old school things. There was the binder system. A lot of people use that. I use the index card system. I like paper and pen and have it in front of me, so I was kind of old school and had that. And I still have that to a certain degree, but I'm incorporating the Maven app and moving to more digital things and doing a lot of stuff with that because it's just so cool and everything that you can do. But you can create a system that works for you. And it doesn't matter what anyone else does. You need to do what you choose, even if you take a couple of different things and tweak it to make it your own, because the best follow-up system is the one you will use. You need to do whatever you're going to use. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. So make sure you do something that you like. So I have just attended events like this and different trainings and that kind of thing, and that's how I kind of figure out what I wanted to do for my follow-up system. But the first year at least, if not first couple of years, I didn't really have a follow-up system. I didn't know that I should be doing that. I didn't know how to do that until I started attending things and learning, oh, you should be doing this. And I thought, oh, okay, I should do that. So I had a whole bunch of customers that had never heard from me again after they purchased one time. So I've been trying to do better about bringing those people back in and reaching out to them again too. One of the things that I love about the Maven app is how much faster you can get through your follow-ups too. So as I said, I used index cards and I would go through and look at each name and get their number and plug that in and text them and check in with them and that kind of thing. But with the Maven app, you can have there's message templates. They have some already preset in there. I would encourage you to go in and put your own in there, make it your words, make it sound like it's coming from you, because it is. And whenever you click on a to-do or click on a contact, then it's gonna populate that message, and all you have to do is hit send. Their name is in there, the message that you wanna send, you can adjust it to, whatever it is you wanna include, and you can send that out to people, and you can just get through them really fast. It's amazing how quickly you can get through them. So, what do you follow up on? The main three things that you're gonna follow up on are PWS orders, individual orders, and party orders. So, I have a system in place. I'm kind of a systems nerd, so I have a system for everything. But I have a spreadsheet that I use for my PWS orders. And it helps me keep track of who's ordered for me, which method that, like thank you, follow up, that kind of thing, which one I've done so I don't forget. But this is also something that you can now do in the Maven app. So it's just amazing, what you can do with that thing. So for my PWS orders, after somebody orders from me, within a day or two, I send them a text and say, thank you. Thank you for your order. I appreciate your business. Because if you order something online from somebody, you want them to acknowledge that you purchased from them, right? It doesn't feel good if you buy something and they don't even acknowledge you. So don't be that person. Reach out to them and say thank you and tell them that you appreciate their business. And try to do it quickly. I usually do it within the first day or two. And whenever I do that, I also tell them, you're gonna get an email with a tracking number so that you'll know when to expect it, and that way they know when their package is coming. So it's just another way to get good customer service out in front of them. And then, after I do the thank you, then I kind of keep an eye on when it's been shipped. And after about a week, I give them about a week so that they get the package, get it open, get it set up. I used to do it a little faster, but I found that people were telling me, oh, I haven't opened it yet. So I stretched it out a little bit, so I do a week. And then I check back with them, and I say, hey, I just wanted to make sure that you got your order. I wanted to make sure that you were happy with everything, that you love it all. So there are a couple reasons that it's important to do this. Number one, porch thefts. We all know that boxes have been stolen from porches. So you want to make sure that they actually did receive it. And sometimes things get misdelivered too. And so if your customer doesn't receive their order and you don't check in with them to make sure that they got it, they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth about Cincy and probably about you too, because they didn't get their stuff. So check back and make sure that they did. I had two scenarios that happened with me personally that showed me that it really is a good idea. I had one guy who ordered from me, and he ordered and it was delivered to his office. So whenever I checked in with him, I was like, hey, did you get your order? Are you happy with everything? And he said, I haven't gotten it yet. Well, I knew by the tracking info it had been delivered. And so I pulled that up and I was like, well, here's what happened. This is where it is. This is who signed for it. So, see if you can find it and then let me know. So he goes on a hunt, and sure enough, it had been delivered. He found it, but they hadn't brought it to him for some reason. And so his package was there, and he just didn't know it. So if I hadn't followed up with him, he might not have ever gotten it. Maybe eventually they would have given it to him, but he didn't have it at the time. And then I also had a girl who ordered for me who lives in an apartment. And she happened to be out of town whenever her order was delivered. And so rather than UPS leaving it at her apartment door, they took it to a UPS access point for her to pick it up. But she didn't know that. So I texted her, and she's like, no, I didn't get it. And I'm like, well, it shows this, this, and this. So through figuring out the tracking information, we were able to figure out where it was, and she was able to get that package. So if you don't ever check back with those orders, with the PWS orders, to make sure that they received it, there's a chance that they have it, and then they're not going to be happy with Cincy because they think it was Cincy's fault, even though it wasn't. So check in for that. Now, individual orders, let's see. Oh, one more thing that I do for PWS orders. After I do that follow-up, then a little bit later after that, maybe within the next week or so, I send a thank you card in the mail. A handwritten thank you card, and I put a cent circle in it and just say, thank you so much for your order, I appreciate your business. Because a PWS order, I didn't have any way to put my personal touch on that. It didn't come from me, I can't put a sample in it, I can't put a flyer in it, they don't have my card, nothing like that. And especially if they're a brand new customer, I want them to have my contact information. So I'll put a cent circle in there, a business card. Sometimes, if it's a brand new customer, sometimes I do a business card and cent of the month sample. So it's a wax sample, they still get something, but they have my business card too. And sometimes I'll get orders, this is bizarre, but like 1 bar or a 3-pack of bars, a 3-pack of bulbs. And people paid more for shipping than they did the product, which is insane. But sometimes it happens, and I'm not gonna, I mean, maybe it's me, but I'm not gonna send them a scent circle when that costs more than the commission that I'm gonna make on that sale. I do use host rewards to get my scent circles for free though, so it's not costing me anything to do that, but people love it. It's good customer service, and they're like, oh my gosh, they sent me a card and a gift for ordering. So you can tweak it and do it however you want, but it's just good to get another touch point with them and let them know that you're thinking about them and that you're thankful for them. So that's something you can do. Now, individual orders, I check back about a week later, because those are orders that have come to me, and I've either delivered them to them or they've picked them up for me. So I check about a week later just to make sure that they were happy with everything. I know they got it, so I'm not checking for that, but just to make sure that they were happy with everything in there. And then party orders, I deliver the whole thing to my host, and then I check about a week after I've delivered to the host to make sure all of the guests did receive their orders, that they got it from the host, because we've all heard stories about sometimes that doesn't happen too, and make sure that they were happy with it. So just checking in to make sure they got it is always good, and make sure they were happy. But it doesn't end there. So you want to check back regularly. Don't just follow up after that and then be done. Put them in a rotating basis and check back in with them regularly. So some of my customers I'll check in with every month, because they're regular customers, they order quite a bit, they might want to know what the sales are, or what the specials are for the month, because we have a special every single month of some sort, right? So you always have a reason to reach out to people. Sometimes they don't order, but at least I've told them what the specials are, what the sales are. And then some people, they don't order very often, so I might check in with them every 2 to 3 months. Maybe bring back my bar, new catalog, some of the bigger things that are going on. So I'll check in with them then. Some people, especially the ones that you never hear from, those people you check in with them and they never respond to you, they haven't ordered in a long time, those are going to hear from me when we have a new catalog. I'll just send them a message and say, hey, we have a new catalog out right now, just want to let you know, in case you want to leave, whatever. I mean, you could say it nicer than that, but just getting the information about a new catalog into their hands, so in case they are interested, they can let you know. So those are the things that you want to keep doing to make sure that you establish yourself as the Scentsy girl or guy. Make sure that they think of you when they think of Scentsy. It also reminds them to use their product. Maybe they have forgotten to turn their warmer on for a month, and when they hear from you, they're like, oh yeah, I need to go turn that on. It doesn't smell good in here. So you can remind them that. If they have any kind of a problem, maybe they have a warmer that quit working and they don't know we have a lifetime warranty. I've had that happen. I'll check in with a customer and they're like, yeah, my warmer quit working, I need to get a new one. And so then I find out, well, what happened with it? What isn't working? And if it's something that's covered under our warranty, I'm going to make sure to tell them, hey, we're going to replace that for you for free because we have a lifetime warranty on our products. And then they're ecstatic. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So you can provide good customer service by doing that. And then you can also learn about your customers' favorites. So maybe you check in with them and they say, oh, I really love this scent. Is that available right now? If it's not, you can say, oh, I'm sorry, it's not right now, but I can write that down on a list. And when it comes back, maybe I'll bring back my bar, or if it comes back on the catalog, I can be sure to let you know that it's back. And then keep that. I have a little card system, and I have like a card that has the scent name on it, and then if somebody loves that scent, I put their name on that card. So then if you bring back my bar, or anytime scents are going away, or they've come back new, then I can go through that box and message those people, hey, guess what, your favorite scent is back. I know you love that one, so I wanted to let you know. And I have some customers that will order like $100 worth of one scent because they love it so much. And then that also gives you a chance to tell them about Scentsy Flow. Hey, did you know you can keep getting this now forever and ever if you subscribe to it? So those are things that are important, checking in with them. And another important thing to remember is that it doesn't matter how long it's been, and it doesn't matter if you've never followed up. Start now. Go home and put a system in place and start now. I started to tell you earlier, I had like a group of customers who I hadn't reached out to ever after their first order because I didn't know any different. And I had some that I hadn't reached out to in a long time because I kind of gave up on them. I thought, oh, they never answer me, and I don't know if they ever want anything, so I just kind of quit checking in on them. But I thought, that's not a good way to follow up, and so I brought them all back into my system, and I messaged them and said, hey, I'm just checking in with customers who hadn't ordered in quite a while, and I wanted to check in on you to see if you're still using your products, if you're still interested in them, If I can send you any information or maybe a catalog link to check out, please let me know. And some of them I didn't hear from them, but I actually did get some orders. And some of them were people that hadn't ordered from me in like 4 or 5 years. So they don't know that I had a follow-up system, that they weren't in it, and I wasn't checking up with them. And, you know, the people that had never heard from me, they don't know that I should have checked back in a long time ago, but didn't. They just know that I'm checking in now. So you might think it's weird to check in, but that's your thinking, it's not theirs. They're not gonna think that. And if they do, who cares? They'll either order or they won't, and then you'll move on to the next customer. So check in with them, even if it's been a while, and see if they need anything, and you might be surprised at the orders that you get. So what do you say whenever you check in? Sometimes people struggle with that, like, I want to follow up, but I don't know what to say to people. So I'm going to read you the text that I sent to my customers. One thing that I didn't mention earlier, a lot of people will tell you, make phone calls, call people, and that's all well and good for some. But I don't make phone calls. I don't like making phone calls, and I'm not going to do it. So no matter how many times somebody tells me, I'm not going to do it. And some of you might do really well at that, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm definitely not telling you don't make phone calls. But if you're like me and you don't want to make phone calls, that's okay. You can text people. I do text and Facebook message. And so that's how I reach out to my customers, and it works really well. I only have, I think, 1 or 2 customers that I actually make a phone call to. And it just because, like, that's how it started with them, and so I'm used to talking to them, they know who I am, but some of my customers, they don't know who I am, so to me, it feels weird to call them, but I don't mind sending a text. I can text all day long, so just send a text. And so here's what I said last month for my January message. I said, hey, this is Donetta with Cincy, how are you? And I always address it to them, but, you know, whatever their name is. How are you? I hope you're having a great 2019 so far. I wanted to check to make sure you're still enjoying your Cincy products. I also want to let you know it's Bring Back My Bar Month, and we have 25 great scents back for this month only. If you'd like to see a list, hear about any other specials for the month, like our hosts getting double half-price items, or get a link to check things out, let me know. Now, 2 important things to know whenever you message somebody, or when I do anyway. I don't send them all of the information in the text, and I don't send a link in that first text. There's 2 reasons for that. The first one, if you send a link in a text to somebody who doesn't have you in their contacts, then that message could show up as spam, and they might not even see it. Or they can report it as spam, because they don't, like if they don't read it and they just see a link, they might think, oh, I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna delete it. And you don't want that. You don't want to be reported as spam. So don't send a link right away. And you don't want to give them all the information, because you want to know if they're interested in it. You want to know if it's something that they want to look at. So if you make them ask you for it or tell you that they're interested, then you can send the information about the specials. You can send your link, because then you've started a phone conversation or a text conversation, and they're going to expect the link, and the phone isn't going to like mark it as spam, and they'll know, okay, it's okay, because they responded to them. But then they can look at the link and look at the specials and stuff, and you have an opportunity to remember that name or write it down. I make a little list, because I don't remember anything. I make a little list and set it by my computer, and I know that those are people I need to follow up with again in like 2 or 3 days. You don't want to do it right away, because people, even though they ask for the link, most of the time I have found they don't open it and look at it right then. So if you've never used it at all, you can sign up for a free trial, and you can try the premium version free for 30 days. Now, the app is only $7.99, so you can get that back in one good order. So it's going to pay for itself even after you start paying for it. It's totally worth it. And it's a tax write-off, because it's a business expense. So it's definitely important to have. But with the premium version, it's going to sync with your workstation. It's going to pull in all your contacts into it. It's going to put your orders in there. Right now, they're going back to 2016, so it's not going to go further back than that if you have, like if you've been around for a while. But it'll go back that far, so it's still a good amount of orders. It's going to bring all of that in. You can text from the app. So there's a little spot on the bottom that just has contacts. You can just find a contact and message them. It's got to-do lists that you can set up. You can create all kinds of to-do lists. Okay. You can create all kinds of to-do lists, and you can check in with people like that haven't ordered in a while. You can follow up with people that recently ordered. You can send a thank you. those to-dos are in there, so you can set, I want a reminder for this after this many days, or I want a reminder after this many days. And you get to control all of that. You get to decide if you want the to-do, you get to decide the time that you want. And I've tweaked mine several times since I started using it, because I set it up and I was a little over-ambitious with the first time I set it up, and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of to-dos, and then it's out of control, I can't do this. Because I'm the kind of person that does not like all those numbers. If I can't clear it out, then it just stresses me out. If you can handle the numbers, then maybe you can be over-ambitious. But if you can't, start off small and then work your way up. So you get to decide how many people you want to follow up with each day, what kinds of follow-ups you want to do, and you have the message template, so it's just going to pull that message in. So make sure you go in and personalize those instead of to say what you want it to say. Another really cool feature, you can add new customers into the app. So say you sold something out of your stock or at an open house or something, and that's not going to be in your workstation. It's not going to be reflected in there, so it's not going to pull in. You can go in and manually put that in. If you have, like I had 2 customers this last month that went in on an order together, and it was PWS, so I could just put it under one name, and one person paid for it and everything. But I split it in the Maven app, so I put what the one person got in her order, and the other person I put what she got in her order. So I have it showing accurately in there what they got. And then samples. This is the biggest one, because for me, that's probably my weakest area of follow-up. If I give out samples, number one, I forget what I gave them, because I'll do a whole variety of samples sometimes, and I can't remember what I gave somebody. Or I just forget to ask them, hey, did you use that sample? What did you think? And in the Maven app, there is a section for that. You can record samples that you give out to people. So whenever you give someone something, you just go in and plug in the information of what you gave them, and then there's a reminder that's going to come up, and you set how many days later you want to be reminded, and it'll prompt you to say, hey, check in with so-and-so to see what they thought of that sample. I love that. So that's a really good feature. And then Maven has a Facebook group that you can join, and they've got videos and tutorials, and they'll answer questions, and you can just be a part of the community with other Cincy Maven users. It's called Cincy Powered by Maven, so you can join that Facebook group if you want to. Now, a couple more things that I want you to know. Always make sure to ask people if they want to receive your email newsletter. Some people don't use email anymore, and that's okay. I always ask people, do you like getting emails? And that's how I kind of start the conversation. Because some people don't, and that's okay. Because if they don't, they're not going to open it, so it's no big loss. But if they do like getting emails, and say, hey, I have a newsletter that goes out each month, and it's got sales and specials in it, so would you like to receive that? And then you can subscribe them to it. You can do your own newsletter, you can use the Cincy newsletter as is, or you can edit the Cincy newsletter, or do a combination, whatever it is that you choose. But that's just another way to get your information in front of your customers on a monthly basis. So that's important to do. And then another thing that's really important to remember to do is always enter all of your customers' contact information into your workstation. If you have somebody's information in there, and they say they go to Cincy.com because they can't remember your name, or they can't remember your website, they don't know who they bought from, or maybe you were just they ordered through a party and they don't even know who you are. If they go to Cincy.com and order, and you have their contact information listed, and you were the last consultant they ordered from, you're going to get that sale when they purchase. It's going to go to you because you've got them linked. If you don't have their information in there, Cincy doesn't know to give it to you, and it's going to go to somebody that's the closest proximity to them based on their address. So make sure that you've entered that information. And I have a perfect example of that. The first year that I was a consultant, I did an event, and I had a drawing box where people filled out drawing slips, get leads and that kind of thing. And I entered all of that information, and fast forward 6 years, and this name shows up on my orders tab, and I was like, that name seems familiar to me. And so I go and look at the contact, and sure enough, she had entered my drawing 6 years before. She'd never purchased anything since, but because I had all of her information in there, I got that sale. She doesn't even live near me. She would have been given to somebody else because of her address, but I got it because I had her contact information in there. So I was able to connect with her and follow up, and she has ordered from me several times since, so she's a regular customer of mine now. But if I hadn't plugged her information in all those years ago, then I wouldn't have gotten that sale. So it's very important to do that. Okay, we are gonna break into small groups for a little small group activity. I go for 3:45, is that right? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do a little small group activity. So I want you to group into groups of like